Thank you very much for your patience. Mr. Lewin, would you please read us out of closed session?
Yes, we have no reportable action from closed session at this time. We'll proceed forward with continuing negotiations as was posted.
Thank you very much. And at this time, I'd like to call to order the open session of the San Bernardino International Airport. And Mr. Sanchez, pledge, please.
Yes, if we can all rise, please. Face the flag on the screen. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Certainly. Please state your names for the record. Members from the City of Colton.
Frank Navarro.
Thank you, and please note for the record that Member Echevarria is in the audience. Members from the City of Loma Linda.
Dusty Rigsby.
Thank you. Member from the County of San Bernardino, 3rd District.
Don Rao.
Thank you. Members from the City of Highland.
Penny Lilburn.
Thank you. And members from the City of San Bernardino.
Theodore Sanchez.
Helen Tran.
Thank you, and please also note Member Charette in the audience.
Thank you. Do we have any items to be added or deleted, Madam Clerk?
No items.
Next, conflict of interest. Any members wishing to declare conflict on any item on the agenda state itself? Hearing none, seeing none, we move on to informational items. Mr. Burrows, please.
So a quick report on all things grants. On your agenda today are some closeout items on the two largest projects, the taxiway and shoulder, or the taxiway shoulder and the runway project. We are actively engaged with FAA on forthcoming grants under the AIP program and the new bipartisan infrastructure law funding. And those discussions are going quite well. And we are currently in pre-design for one of those, which is a revised, upgraded airport access road, which gives us more mobility, flexibility, and safety with the new TSA environment we find ourselves in. So all that is going well. I'll just comment that we continue to pursue additional opportunities for the contract tower that is currently operating at the airport and looking at the infrastructure needs there. So we'll be back to you with some recommendations if new opportunities arise on that. And then in the green energy space, we are in queue for some additional grant funding that is currently under review, and we hope to hear good results from that review process. That concludes the grant report. Mr. Cousineau has an update on your audit.
Thank you, Mike. Happy to report our field work has been completed. This was a new audit firm for SBIAA this year, so there was additional work that had to be performed as being a first-year client. GASB 87, which was the new lease standard, also increased the workload for staff, along with a multi-month fuel sales reconciliation that popped up with our new aviation fuel vendor. We are currently staff is fielding partner inquiries from the review process. We expect to have the issued financial statements by next meeting in May. Expected audit results is an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance that we can receive. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Comments or questions from commissioners on that? Hearing none, seeing none. Mr. Burrows, we done?
That concludes our reports. I just want to special thanks to our Finance and Budget Committee members. We met prior to this meeting and are in active budget preparation. So thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Moving on to commission consent items. Items 3, 4, 5, and 6. Any public comment on consent items, Madam Clerk?
No public comment on consent items.
Any questions from commissioners on consent items? If not, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move the items.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a first by Mayor Lilburn and a second by Mayor Tran. Madam Clerk, the roll vote, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a motion by Member Lilburn and a second by Member Tran. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Okay.
Member Tran?
Yes.
and Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. That item is passed unanimously.
Thank you very much. Moving on to commission action items, item number 7. Let's consider and adopt budget amendments for the fiscal year 22-23. Mr. Cosino, if you would please.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you have a request for a budget adjustment of a cash capital outlay to reimburse Inland Valley Development Agency, $1,239,900 for improvements and rehabilitation of Sabia's terminal access roadway network. This particular project that was performed by IVDA for Sabia was to realign and create one-way traffic flows around the domestic terminal as well as the international terminal, and to provide additional access and safety for the traveling public. That concludes my report. Mike, was there anything you would like to add?
No, that's great, thanks.
Do any public comment on this item, Madam Clerk?
No public comments.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from commissioners?
Move for approval.
Thank you. Supervisor Rao moves for approval.
I'll second.
Second by Mayor Lilburn. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Rao and a second by Member Lilburn. Members, please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro.
Yes.
Member Rigsby.
Yes.
Member Rao.
Yes.
Member Lilburn.
Yes.
Member Tran.
Yes.
And Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. That item passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 8. This is to approve a professional services agreement with Tetra Tech AMT in an amount not to exceed $205,568.51. And this one is Mr. Andres Zapata.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. The Federal Aviation Administration on February 23rd, 2023, published a final rule in the Federal Register that requires most Part 139 certificated commercial airports to develop and implement an airport safety management system, also known as SMS. In its most basic form, SMS is composed of a set of formal decision-making tools, policies, and repeatable processes that are used to plan and direct everyday activities at the airport. The goal of SMS is to identify, prevent, and reduce risk, as well as promote safety across the airport. Staff solicited proposals from multiple known aviation firms and industry group recommendations for this specialized scope of work. Tetra Tech AMT submitted the only responsive proposal. The proposed professional services agreement with Tetra Tech would develop a safety management system for the FAA approval. Staff recommends the approval of a professional services agreement with Tetra Tech for development and implementation of an airport safety management system as required by the FAA in an amount not to exceed $205,568.51, beginning on July 1st, 2023, and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all related documents. At this time, I can take any questions.
Thank you very much. Public comment on this item?
No public comments.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the commissioners?
Move to approve.
Mayor Tran moves to approve.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Rao. Madam Clerk?
Thank you very much. We have a motion by Member Tran and a second by Member Rao. Please state your votes for the record. Member Navarro.
Yes.
Member Rigsby.
Yes.
Member Rao.
Yes.
Member Lilburn.
Yes.
Member Tran.
Yes.
And Member Sanchez.
Yes.
Thank you. That item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 9. This is to approve change order number 4 with Goss Construction Company Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $36,124.39 for the runway 624 joint spall repair project. Mr. Jeff Barrow, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Approval of change order number 4 with Goss Construction Incorporated, in amount not to exceed $36,124.39 for the runway 624 joint and spill repair project, and approve the following in notice of completion and release retention funds for the contract, and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all related documentation. Pending approval of change order number 4, the construction contract will be complete. Staff recommends the Commission approve the above recommended actions.
Public comment?
No public comments.
Thank you.
I'll move the item.
I have a motion by Mayor Lilburn,
Second.
second by Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you very much. We have a motion by Member Lilburn and a second by Member Sanchez. Members, please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro.
Yes.
Member Rigsby.
Yes.
Member Rao.
Yes.
Member Lilburn.
Yes.
Member Tran?
Yes.
And Member Sanchez?
Yes.
Thank you. That item passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 10. Consider and discuss the SBD Good Neighbor Program First Quarter 2023 report. Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you. We're very pleased to have Rosemary Barnes with our consulting group, Aviatrix Communications, here with us to walk us through the report today. And with that, Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Mark. Mayor Navarro, Commissioners, Mike and Mark, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me back to deliver the Good Neighbor Quarterly Report for the first quarter of 2023. Jennifer, if we can go to page 4, please, when she's ready. Okay, so we're going to start with on page 4. It's okay. I know you're busy over there. Let's review our outreach activities and some of those results. We published the winter edition of Good Neighbor News, our quarterly newsletter, sharing the articles, promoting subscriptions, which continue to increase. We also shared news of the 10th anniversary of the Norton Air Force Base Museum, again, 10 years, and their open house that they held in March, just to amplify that and share that and invite the community members to attend. Of course, the winter weather, I know is very difficult for some of our mountain residents, so the airport very much played a role in that, working with CalDART to provide emergency resources and supplies. So the airport was very happy to be a part of that operation and to support that emergency need. And then, of course, the day after we launched Breeze, there was a press conference in which we amplified Congressman Aguilar's announcement of $3 million in federal funding for 3rd Street via IVDA. So that was wonderful. So we've done a lot, and again, we're getting some good information out there about all these positive activities. Let's go to page 9, please. So for the first month of the year, we had one comment from a community member in Colton. Let's go to 12. In February, we had 8 comments from 4 households in Colton, Fontana, and Highland. Page 15. In March, we had 28 comments from 9 households in San Bernardino, Colton, Highland, Fontana, Redlands, and Rialto. Let's go to page 17. We're going to start looking at the totals and trends here. Year over year, there was a decrease in both the number of comments received as well as the households filing comments. And this was despite an increase in commercial aircraft operations year over year. And again, we are seeing that the program is working, and the outreach activities are helping people understand why these aircraft are operating and how they benefit the region. Page 18. So for the first quarter, we had 37 total comments filed by 10 households. And you see it broken down here by the various households. 65% of these comments were received from 3 households in Colton and San Bernardino. Page 19. And here is the list of the 5 commenters for the quarter, with 60% of the comments that came from 2 households in Colton and San Bernardino. Page 20. Again, year-over-year data for the first quarter shows that comments were down by about 50%, and then we had 7 fewer comments compared to the same time last year. Page 22. And here you see the comments broken out by aircraft category, concern, as well as filing method, with jet activity being the most prevalent type of comment we received. And then, and I again wanted to point out that trend continues, that we are from the last quarter where we're seeing comments about drone activity that started toward the end of last year. Flying over home and the perception of low flying, those were the 2 most prevalent comments we received. And then about 3/4 of the comments that we received were received via the online filing method. Page 23. Here you see that same information, just in table format, the types of concern we received, as well as the aircraft category, or at least what was reported to us. And the feedback from the community, 40% of those that commented said that they would like to receive a response from the airport to the comments that they shared. Page 25, here's the heat map. And this shows that the majority of comments that we've received were from neighbors located 5 to 10 miles from the airport. And then the final page, in summary. Quarter over quarter, there were 12 additional comments from 2 fewer households. And year over year, there was a decrease in both the number of comments received as well as the number of households filing comments. And again, we attribute in part, despite an increase in commercial passenger operations as well as others, the program's working. We're pleased with the return on investment in this great program, helping educate the community about all the great, the important activities that are taking place here at San Bernardino Airport and how we're reinvesting in the region. So this completes my report. Thank you very much for your attention, and any questions, Mark and I are happy to answer those.
Thank you very much for the report. Comments or questions from commissioners? Go ahead.
I'm happy to see that the comments from Highland are dwindling down, so that means you're either answering them and addressing them, and they're happy with the feedback, so I appreciate that.
Good, that's really great feedback, thank you.
Mayor Trey?
I have a comment, thank you. Thanks for the presentation, this is helpful. The category comment by concern, flying over home, what does that mean? Is that just because they still want the plane to fly over their home, or is that due to loud? Because I know that you have a category usually loud. Is that tied, or?
Maybe Mark will take
It's
that.
it can mean a lot of different things. It's really most meaningful, I guess. It's a way to. Let me back up. It's a complicated answer because it can mean different things to different people. So a lot of people, if they see the airplane, it's flying over them, right? Even though it may or may not be. It may be on its correct path, it may not, but at least it allows us to categorize it. And then if they ask for a comment or request a call back, then we're able to dive into each of those individually and really understand what it is that is their concern. And we dive a little bit deeper should they ask for that kind of feedback.
Okay, thank you.
Again, thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
It kind of bothers me to see my city way up at the top of it, but it is what it is, you know, and
Yeah.
we respond to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Item 11, review status of the action plan for the San Bernardino International Airport Authority through June 30th. Mr. Burrows.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So we are headed and are in, from a staff perspective, budget preparation mode these days. Mr. Cousineau and team and all of the departments and divisions working on framing next year's proposed budget for you. As Mr. Cousineau indicated, next meeting we should have your audit presentation. And then also in May, we will have the 29th annual Inland Empire World Trade Week Conference in the city of Highland. And a number of trade representatives, particularly from Indo-Pacific and the markets that they represent, there to discuss best practices and new opportunities. So in celebration of World Trade Month, which is May, stay tuned for the May 3rd event. And that is an extension of our partnership with the U.S. Department of Commerce, the International Trade Administration, and their connections that provide us access to every embassy throughout the world. So it's a nice way to say thank you, but also hear from them and make sure we're staying abreast of current trends, but also new opportunities. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burrows. I think most of us are going to be conflicted on that day. I think we are going to SBCT?
I know I'm busy.
Something, yeah. So I probably won't be able to be there, but I wish you good
We have a rock star, one Penny Lilburn, who has
Okay.
graciously agreed to
All right,
say
there you go.
say the welcome. So thank
Can
you,
you
Penny.
repeat the date?
May 3rd, it's a morning event.
Oh, it's a morning event.
Yeah.
So are you talking about the SCAG? Or, no, it's something else. Okay, thank you.
But if you can't attend, feel free to send a representative. We'd be happy to have.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Burrow. Moving on, item J, added or deferred items, Madam Clerk.
No items.
Okay, item K, open session for public comment. I do have a request to speak from Mr. David Kondoki. Kondoki, okay. Please, sir.
All right, I'm going to read off of this. I might not be looking at you because it's just a few minutes here. Good afternoon, board members and airport staff. My name is David Gandolfi, and I live in East Highlands Ranch area of Highland. I wanted to speak to you about two things this afternoon. The first, I would like to thank you for video recording the meetings and having them live stream on YouTube. This is allowing those that are interested in what's happening here at San Bernardino International Airport, a way to see, hear, and read in captions what's going on at these meetings and being better informed on the airport operations. Living in Highland, I would hope that someday they too would live stream the council and planning meetings, as you do. It's nice to be able to see in the slides and other informations put up on the screens and I have a better understanding what's being presented. Maybe staff could provide Penny the annual cost and services and how this is done, so that maybe someday the city of Highland could do it. Maybe Highland could even piggyback on the contract. Second item, I wanted to say I've become well informed when watching the quarterly meetings reports on the complaints that are received by the airport staff for noise of aircraft flying low or over residential areas around the airport. It has been great to see that the complaints coming from Highland are only 6 this quarter, putting us in 3rd. In watching reports, I've come to realize that I am code G183. After watching the last couple of reports and the questions asked of staff, I wanted to make sure that you're aware of my complaints, why I complain. San Bernardino International Airport has a preferred arrival procedure for the aircraft landing on runway 24. Those aircraft that fly north of Green Spot Road and over the homes are the ones that I filed the complaints about. I don't believe I filed any complaints about departing aircraft from runway 6, being that they seem to turn south as soon as they get to 210 freeway. The aircraft I have the most complaints about are the Amazon aircraft that seem to like to fly over my house, and a few smaller cargo planes and maybe a Learjet, and one time for the Breeze Airways. As for the air tankers, because this was brought up, as for the air tankers flying over my house, I have no issues. They are providing a service and protecting property, homes, and lives. I look at them the same way as I look at an emergency vehicle going code 3 with lights and sirens while driving down the road. I pull over and give way. They provide a service. I use an app called Flight Radar 24. It's right here. Was that my 3 minutes? To track and ID the aircraft that fly over my house and provide information on the complaints so that the people here have a better idea of what exactly I'm talking about. So you don't think that I'm one of those that's out for the airport using the aircraft. I used to fly small Piper aircraft out of
Sir,
Rialto.
your time is up.
Okay, I'm sorry, but thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to item, if there are no other public comments,
No other comments.
public comment period is closed then. We'll move to item L, commission member comments. Madam Mayor Tran,
No, no comments.
Supervisor Rowe?
Nope.
Councilor?
I just have one. I wanted to thank Mark for coming and giving a presentation to the senior center. I heard we have a very big turnout. So thank you for coming and updating them about the airport on all the unknowns.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, I think maybe 2 board meetings ago, we had spoken about having our marketing firm, the one that's marketing the flights for our commercial, for Breeze Airway, if they could come in and give a presentation. Yeah, I just kind of want to get an idea as to how soon that could happen.
Yeah, we're actually working with the team and legal counsel on preparing that for you because some of that data is proprietary to the carrier. And hopefully we'll be able to get that to you at your next
That
session.
actually brings me up to my second point. I'm hearing that Breeze Airway is knocking it out of the park, that they are very successful here at this airport. And so I think it's a golden opportunity for us to show the world through kind of a staff presentation here that we're doing well so we can get that second airline. Because I know we were, it took forever to get that first airline, and right now we're still almost in that honeymoon phase. But I'm already starting to look at, all right, let's get that second airline in. And I think that would be a big step, right? First of all, it keeps the marketing firm accountable, right? Letting them know that we're keeping an eye on them. And then second, it announces to the whole world that Breeze Airway has been successful here. They showed that this airport's a viable option, and we can get flights to, wherever. Get more flights, get that second airline here. And that's it.
Yeah, we will take good news any day, to your point. Thank you.
All right. There being no other comments, no other business to attend to for the Airport Authority, we are now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.